Hello, Palm Desert staff, and welcome to the Unite Palm Desert podcast. My name is Ryland Penta, your digital strategies coordinator, and today we're here to discuss public art with Erica Powell, the city's public art management analyst. How's it going, Erica?
It's going great.
All right, are you ready to talk about art?
Always ready to talk about art.
Awesome. So let's start out by discussing the program's history and maybe share some key facts about the art that we have in our city.
Absolutely. The city of Palm Desert had their program start in 1986. It was the first in Riverside County to adopt an ordinance, the Ordinance 473, which requires developers to place city-approved artwork as part of their development fee. That fee goes into our Art in Public Places Fund, and those funds are used to purchase artwork for placement within the city. Also, the public art department is responsible for the collection of placement, the maintenance of all the sculptures and artwork within the city limits. And citywide, we have 86 pieces that are city owned. And then we have 82 pieces that are developer owned. The delineation is that we maintain our city pieces and the developers maintain their pieces. So it's quite a large program.
Yeah, incredible undertaking to maintain so much, art and the colossal amount of partnerships you must go through with Public Works and other divisions here at City Hall to make sure everything is maintained effectively.
Correct, and we also do contract for some of the maintenance as well. So not only do our Public Works get involved, but we have a maintenance contractor who goes twice yearly to each sculpture to make sure it's clean, no graffiti, and so that they're all looking sparkling throughout the year.
Wow, it's incredible. So we just finished up the El Paseo exhibit install. How does that program work and how'd that process take place?
So this program, or I should say this exhibition program, started in the early 90s. It's a biennial exhibition and it consists of 18 sculptures. Those are installed on LED lit concrete pads, and they are in the median on El Paseo with between Highway 74 and Portola Avenue. Every 2 years, there's a call for entries and it's announced, and we normally have about 200 entries approximately per exhibition. So those are sorted through and then they are submitted for inclusion into the exhibition. Once they are gone through, they are given to the Cultural Arts Committee for more of like a jury process for approvals and selection. So once the committee has selected their top 18, then it goes to the city council for final approval, and then obviously install, and we go through 2 years of being on display, and they get signage. And this year there will be a virtual tour that will be displayed with signage along the sidewalks for people to open up through their smartphones.
Great. Yeah. So going from 200 to 18, I mean, it must just be a horribly challenging process. I mean, incredible that you and the special programs team can sit down and take in all that material and can think it all through. I mean, it must be a real undertaking.
It is definitely an undertaking. Some go quickly because of due to size. Some are submitted and they aren't completely thinking of the size of the concrete pad, so right away those are taken out. So there's different stages of the selection process before they get to the Cultural Arts Committee.
Right. That makes sense. There must be a lot of constraints around that.
There are a lot of constraints. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
put on the RFP, but we still get submissions that are outside of those particular constraints.
Yeah, certainly. And speaking of sculptures, now we've seen a lot of murals coming about around the city. And could you speak maybe to a few of those, kind of the motivation or what's new out in the city today?
Absolutely. We have murals popping up everywhere. They definitely spark conversation. The two most recent murals are Monarch Sky by John Cuevas And we have a barbershop mural, which has not been named yet, but that's by Kathleen Goff. Monarch Sky is located at UCR at the Palm Desert campus. And it's been part of our mayor's Monarch Pledge, which is to raise awareness of planting native pollinator plants to bring more habitat for monarch butterflies. So that was installed and dedicated on October 22nd of this year. Also, we currently have on the south facing wall of the barbershop that's located on San Pablo and San Gorgonio Way is a mural that's going in. It was a commission by the city of Palm Desert and the property owner, actually. So a shared commission. And we're working with Flat Black Art Supply and the artist Kathleen Goff. So that's why it's not been named yet. She started in early December and it'll be completed by the end of the month. So you'll have to stop by and have a look.
Yeah, it's actually on my bike path every day. So I've been watching it, yeah, through its many iterations. It's incredible.
Yeah. So in the same, actually, I was going to add two here, in the same vein as murals, next year, we're planning on installing more art wraps for the city. So we'll be adding more traffic signal wraps. We're going to add in some Southern California Edison has an art wrap program for their electrical boxes, and also bottle fillers. So we'll identify locations and kind of strategically plan across citywide where to put some more art wraps.
Very neat. Yeah, it's always kind of impressive to see basic infrastructure beautified in those ways, because we pass this stuff all the time, but you don't really stop and think about it.
Yeah, it makes the sidewalks look nicer and kind of spark more conversation again.
Yeah.
And bring our, beautify the neighborhood.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, in the coming year or so, would you say there's any big projects you'd like to share, or big undertakings? I'm sure there's many, but some that are highlights.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yes. How long do we have?
Right.
We have a long, right. We have a long list of projects. Right now, I am currently working on a citywide virtual tour of our art. It's going to be available through a link on our city website. I also plan to place signage throughout the city via QR code that will lead residents and visitors to the web-based tour. So they won't have to download any app, it'll be web-based. The virtual tour, it provides mapped content. The maps are all interactive, and it includes photography and information about the artworks. And soon it will possibly include audio, so that while visitors are looking at the sculptures and or artworks, there will be audio available, so they don't have to stare at their phone. They can just have that playing. These virtual tours are going to be replacing our in-person docent tours. And so they can access the tours at their own leisure.
Yeah, and just to jump in, Erica, you've shown me the virtual tours as they are today. We've talked a lot about Esri, and it's it's so impressive. The material is rich for city staff to review, but also the public. I mean, it's going to be an incredible feature for the website. So.
Absolutely. It highlights how much we have here in Palm Desert. And I mean, it kind of reminds me, insofar as content, how much we have, because I need to break it down into certain areas of the city so that the tours don't get too overwhelming. I think people will be surprised at how much art we have here in Palm Desert. So yeah, it's very positive.
Very, and I sort of derailed you. So any other big projects coming up?
Yes, one of our biggest projects for next year is a commission that we have, which is part of the San Pablo Phase 1. It's the roundabout at San Gorgonio Way in San Pablo. There was a commission for a sculpture at this roundabout, and it was part of our San Pablo art development plan, which can be found on our website. The vision was to have some sort of predominant element unifying San Pablo from the corridor at Magnesia Falls all the way through to Highway 111. And it kind of provides that sense of community, having artwork all along that corridor. So we're trying to follow along that vision that we had for that sense of place. So along those lines, through Engage Palm Desert, we asked the community what they'd like to vote on, and we awarded a commission to Donald Gianella for the sculpture Sunburst. It's a beautiful sculpture, and if you looked at that Sao Paulo development art plan on our website, it's the opening page of it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that will be installed sometime into 2023.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, it was such a huge community response, and it'll be neat to see that take shape next year.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. We have one other upgrade to our public art program. We had an artist registry online. It actually has its own domain name, Palm Desert Artist Registry. And if you search it online, it actually gets hit pretty well at the top. I would say in the top 5 if you search for artist registries or public art artist registries. So the domain name is very strong. We didn't want to get away or do away with that, I should say. We wanted to keep that, maintain that, and redevelop it. So I found a non-for-profit agency who has been working on redeveloping that, and it's going to be going live in the next 3 weeks.
Wow.
What's very exciting about that is the user interface will be so that artists can go on, create their own profile, apply to become a Palm Desert artist, and then the materials will be sent to me, and then we will go approach the Cultural Arts Committee, and then their work will be juried to be approved, and then they'll have their own space on that site, which will have imagery, it'll have a bio, it'll have space for social media links to jump off to. So everything's, still approved in the same way, but right now they're just finalizing all the last little kinks, and we're going to be going live really soon.
All right, congrats. That's a big
Yeah,
one.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. Well, if you have any other topics, feel free to bring them up. But I think that kind of brings us to the end of the show. Any last words of thought?
I think we have a really vibrant program here in Palm Desert. Just taking a review of what we do here. There are so many more projects on the go, little details. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and ask. So much going on within public art, I think more than people actually realize. So I'm always happy to answer any questions.
Great. Yeah, great resource for the city. And I appreciate your time talking about public art. I know it's something you love to do, so it's not a heavy lift per se, but
Right.
I really appreciate your time. So thank you so much. And thanks to all that are watching. And I'll see you at the next podcast. Yeah,
Thanks, Ryland.